Oh yeah. So that's the guy in the black. That's actually my cousin. He's doing some pictures for our website. So you guys came like on a perfect day.
That's awesome.
Like I'm usually not here. Like whenever this. It actually got busy. Right?
Yeah, you guys look like you got something going on. You can hold that or flip it to your shirt, however you want.
Should I just
You
flip
communicate better in English or Spanish?
Oh, Spanglish.
Mejor en español?
English is better.
Oh, English,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because I've done a couple interviews with Telemundo, and like my Spanish is horrible, and I'm
Okay.
like,
However you feel most comfortable.
I think English would be best.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, so today you guys were in the middle of a photo shoot with, you said it's like your cousin who's doing the
Yeah, so he's doing our pictures for our website.
Okay.
Just because we need to have, if I want to go eat somewhere, I want to know what they have, what it looks like, if it looks appetizing or not. And we do have Uber Eats and DoorDash, so they require for you to have a picture on the items that you're ordering. So,
yes, yeah. And sometimes they want to send you a photographer, but you already have a guy.
I have, yeah. It helps that whenever you're Mexican, you have a big family, so it's like somebody that does something. So,
exactly.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
It works out. Yeah.
Good. So, really, the questions are just like kind of going through like beginning of the business, what it takes to be a restaurant owner.
Okay.
Specifically in the taco business, and then like more of like high level things of like your perception on like life as being a business owner. So, quick and simple stuff. So, and the purpose of our channel is to bring out stories of the business side of being in the taco business.
Okay.
Because a lot of people will have channels or stuff where they talk about the food and they focus on the dish or they review stuff.
Yeah.
And we're like, what about the people who are actually running the business?
Yeah.
And the way that they think and all that stuff. And especially for us to share information with each other, I feel like, as business owners. The American community, they tend to share a lot of information, whereas we as Latinos, we're like, we keep a lot of it to ourselves, or we just don't talk to each other as much.
Yeah.
So.
That's funny. Carlos, what's up? This is my brother-in-law.
Oh, what's up, man? Gabriel, mucho gusto.
You came in on an interview, Carlos. Aquí andamos, interviewing. Yeah, but aquí andamos. Yeah, he's been in the service industry too for
really?
the longest. Yeah.
Are you a restaurant operator too?
He was a manager for a business, y luego también for Topgolf. He worked for Topgolf for years.
Oh yeah, they're big.
I've literally been leaning on him for like cosas. I'm just like, Carlos, what do I do? He's like, no, you'll be fine.
That's important. Having a support group is what we talk about all the time. It's like sometimes people give up too soon because they don't have somebody.
They don't have some. Well, I actually told him, I was like, because people have been asking for drinks, like mixed drinks, and I'm like, I don't know. He's been a bartender for years, so I'm like, I need you to come in and tell me what drinks to make. So yeah.
Or somebody to just be like, no, you're not crazy. What you're thinking is good. Like keep going. That alone is worth so much.
Yeah. So he's been helping us out.
That's good. Awesome.
On the back end.
Congrats on that. Okay, so
You gonna grab some food? Yeah. Sit down. I will pay you.
So the first part is how did y'all get into the taco business?
So we're valet business owners. Yeah, I've been in the valet business for 10 years now with my husband. He's been doing it over 20 years. So we've had a valet company for a while now. And it's funny, we used to go on dates to our favorite taqueria and they shut down. So we were like, what do we do? Like we kept going all throughout DFW. We would go to San Antonio and we would even try tacos there, because we were eager to try, good tacos, a good taco place. And we just never did. So it was always in the back of our head, like, should we open a taqueria? Should we open up a taqueria? And the opportunity came through. We do have a manager that helps us out. He's worked in the service industry for so many years. He's managed several Mexican restaurants.
Okay.
So he was our rock, literally. Like he helped us with several things. So we had him, and then also just knowing so many people, helped us get to where we are today.
Yeah, well, one big thing that we see here is the branding. Like you guys have done a really good job with the branding, both outside and in.
Yeah, it was a lot of, my husband had the vision of, he's like, I want the lights, the channel letters with the lights. And I was just like, I can see it. I'm like, I see the vision, let's do it, And it was a lot of, how do I put it? Like he's like, should we do it? I'm like, let's do it. Like let's just jump in, because if we don't know, like we're never gonna
be indecisive.
Exactly. I'm like, if we don't do it, we're never gonna know what if.
Yeah,
you know what
like
I mean?
dwelling on it versus
Exactly.
just
So
acting
we're
on
just
it.
like, let's just do it. I'm like, we're in the right position. The right location was offered, so we were like, you know what, this is perfect. You know, so
Yeah. So on the menu development, you talk about like the specific type of tacos that you guys like. You were struggling to find that. What is the specific thing about tacos that you think is the key?
Honestly, it's the quality of the meat is one of the things
Okay.
that we were adamant about. Like, this has to be perfect. I personally do not like tacos where like you eat them and like 2-3 hours later you're having like acid reflux, or like you're still tasting them and you're like, what did I just eat? Like, what was in that taco? So one thing about us is that with the trompo, we do not use food dyes. We actually marinate it, and we marinate it for a very long time, you know, and then also with like our meats, we do cook them very slow, you know, some of them, so we get that good texture, that good, you know, that good quality of meat. So yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. So you focus on sourcing the right cuts,
Exactly.
and then
Yes.
not having any fake stuff in your recipes.
We've changed our fajita 3 times now, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because the ones that we were getting were just like, this is not working. Like, I wouldn't want to serve something to somebody that I wouldn't personally. Like, that's how picky we are when it comes to food.
Well, then that's tough because you have to manage when you have good cuts, you're paying a premium,
Exactly, we're
and
paying-
then that affects pricing. And
Exactly.
sometimes as a customer,
Yeah.
customers don't necessarily know. Oh, they have to price it this way because it's a better
Because
cut.
exactly, they, you know, one thing about us, my anxiety has me like checking all the comments, all the reviews. So I've
Okay.
seen people that are just like, that much for a taco, like I'd rather not. And it's just like, we're not giving you, you know, they're not giving us a chance to at least come in, check it out, and be like, okay, yeah, it's worth this much.
Oh,
you
those
know?
are reviews that people who haven't even tried it.
They haven't even tried
They're
it. They're
just-
just like, oh no, I'd rather, you know, because they say it on the reviews, and I'm just like, and I'm like, I get it, because I'm very adamant about trying new things. Like, I'm just like, again, that's why I tell you, if we go out to eat, I'm just like, let me Yelp it, because I want to see how the food looks.
Okay.
So that's what I'm telling you. For example, that's why we're making sure that we're getting really good pictures out there, so our customers can see what it is that they're getting,
Gotcha.
you know. And then obviously, whenever they do come in, we try to give it their best experience, you know,
Okay.
they've ever had.
Nice. Well, yeah, because like I see, we just happened to find you at the register, but we talk about this all the time. It makes a difference when like the owner presence is something that's really hard to replicate. I think it's impossible.
And there's days where I mean several days, and I know the guys, I tell them, I'm like, I know you guys hate me back here, but I'm like, I'm gonna jump in. I'm like, if I'm gonna be in your way, I'm like, tell me if I'm in your way. I'm like, tell me if I'm getting on your nerves. I was like, but I want the food to come out to be quality. And they just laugh about it. They're like, you're not in our way. Or like, whenever it gets busy and, you know, the guys are just like, because again, we're just starting off. So
Yeah.
I'll jump back there, and this actually happened on Tuesday for Taco Tuesday. And I jumped back there and I was like, where do you need me? And the guy was like, do this. And I was like, okay. I'm like, I'm just here to help you guys get, you know, the work done, you know.
Whatever you guys are doing, I think it is working, because at this time of the day, how many taco shops did we just go to right now? Like what, 5-ish? And nobody has a crowd like this, because
Well,
what time is it right now? About to be
it's-
5, or
yeah.
it's about to be 5. So like usually like 5 to 5:30 is when you get hit with a little bit of a rush.
Yeah, with people coming out of work, so
Yeah, but
I'm
you
glad.
guys
I mean,
have more people than most of the other taco shops around here. I don't know what it's due to. We're not from here, so we're not biased.
yeah. Well, we have drinks. That's one thing that a lot of taco restaurants here is that they don't have. We have mixed drinks, you know.
Oh,
what I mean?
cocktails.
So, yeah.
Nice.
That's what I'm telling you. My brother-in-law was like, I need more drinks. I'm like, give me more ideas, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this location, how did it come about? How did y'all find it? How did it?
So we had been looking for a while, and we were looking more towards like downtown, because we do live a little bit further out east, and we would just see it, and then for one reason or another, the deal wouldn't go through. So again, we weren't really. I'm very much of a believer of like the burnt toast. You know what I mean? Like if you're not meant to be there, then you know what I mean. It's just the burnt toast effect, you know.
Okay.
And vibes, a lot of vibes. I do believe in vibes. And there was one location that we went to, and I was just like, I'm
You
like,
said
this
burnt
is,
toast?
yeah.
Can you explain?
Have you heard
briefly?
that?
I think I have, but I don't remember
Yeah,
exactly.
okay, so for example, I don't know if it's just me. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people believe in that. Let's say, for example, like you're running late to, out of your house and you're just irritated. You're like, oh my gosh, like I should have left like 5 minutes ago, this and that. You leave and then you realize that a car accident just happened through the same road that you were supposed to be in. And you're like, okay, what if I would have left 5 minutes earlier? That would have been me. And that happened to a couple of places that we would go see at. And I was just like, how? Like, you know what I mean? It's
Like
just
the deal fell through for no reason.
exactly.
Makes
So
sense.
we were just like, you know what? It's because there was one deal where we were just waiting for like the paperwork to be sent over, and it just didn't for whatever reason. And we were like, you know what? It was kind of. It was like a letdown moment because you're just like, man, like we had it, like it was there. So we would just sit down and I would tell my husband, I'm like, babe, like something's gonna come along. We'll just wait for it. And again, this goes again to knowing people. So he actually knows the landlord from here, and we were talking, and he was like, hey, like I have a location. This is not whatever you're seeing was not here. This used to be a crystal shop. So there was like walls. They had the drop down tile. They had carpet. The restrooms were not what they are now. There was no gas, so we had to run like gas lines, the electricity. We had to do everything. Like there
New
was
grease trap,
nothing.
all new plumbing.
Everything.
Wow.
There was holes in the floor. Like it was just crazy. The parking lot did not look like that.
That's new asphalt.
Yeah.
So that takes a lot of money.
It's a
Did
lot
the
of
landlord
money.
back you up and
Well,
put a lot of that in, or was it just heavy on you guys?
it was more heavy on
Okay.
us. Yeah. So.
Yeah, then you guys really committed. That's a
Exactly.
big investment.
So when I tell you that we're here, we're here to make it work.
Yeah, you don't have a choice. You gotta make it work.
We gotta make it
Spending all
work
that
one way or another.
Because we've built restaurants in the past in other
Oh,
cities,
yeah?
and it's not just the money; it's also the time and the strategy,
Of course,
and
yeah.
everything that goes into it. So we know how you feel.
And then I mean, it helps if it's like a second generation restaurant, but it wasn't.
Yes.
Like there was nothing.
That's the
here.
biggest thing.
You know what I mean? So I mean, it is what it is. We're here now, and we're gonna make the best out of it.
Yeah, well, you guys definitely y'all committed and went all the way through with making it look great.
Thank you.
So, congrats on that. How about dealing with competition? How do you guys think that you separate yourselves from competition?
Honestly, we don't really look at the competition. We don't compare ourselves to anybody else, just because I feel like that's a lot of like mental work.
Okay.
Just it's mentally draining. Like sitting here and like looking across the street and saying like, oh, why do they have so many people and like I don't, like, you know what I mean? We just try our best, do our best to put our name out there, and again, everybody that walks through the doors, we try to make this the best experience they've ever had with us. And I think we're doing a pretty good job, because when I tell you we see regulars 3 times a week,
Yeah,
we
that's
see
awesome.
regular 3. We had one regular. I love
That's the
him.
best sign.
I don't know if he's gonna watch this video, but we had him 3 times in one day. We had him for lunch, we had him after work, and then we had him for dinner. So I was just like, you know what? He walked in and I was like. And he's like, don't say. I'm like, no judgment. I was like, this is a judgment-free zone. I was like, we listen and we don't judge.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. So that goes kind of hand in hand with the burnt toast mentality, because like if you're already thinking like we're just gonna go with whatever, like we're gonna put our best effort forward, and
Yeah.
whatever happens. It's like the same way with competition. It's like let's just focus on
us.
ourselves.
At the end of the day, this is our brand, and we're gonna make the best out of it. So why compare yourselves to others?
Yeah.
Just focus on yourself and make yourself better, grow yourself.
You're right. It's mental work that doesn't really get you anywhere.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, like
You just stress yourself out more.
if you're looking over there and you're not working on your product, you're focused on the wrong thing.
Yeah,
So
you need
that's
to invest
smart.
that. You need to invest that energy into yourself.
Yeah, very true. Okay, what's something unexpected like that you've learned in the past few months of opening the business?
Not every day. Not every day is gonna be an amazing day as far as sales. There's days where sales are just we've been empty. Like it's been empty. We've had 1 or 2 customers, and it's just a roller coaster, honestly. You can't really tell. Like I said, I didn't know today we were going to be busy. You know, there's days on Taco Tuesdays where it's not busy, and then there's days where we're packed. You know what I mean? So it's a restaurant business where the restaurant business is very, you know, you can't really tell what it's going to look like. You know,
it can be unpredictable.
Yeah, very unpredictable.
Yeah, especially in the early days when like you're trying to establish yourself with clientele.
Exactly.
Year 1, year 2, it's really tough.
And it's only been 2 months, so that's why I'm trying not to stress too much out about it. So,
yeah, and I was the same way early. With like, I've been operating my own restaurant for like the past 10 years.
Yeah.
And early on, it's like everything freaks you out. Everything's like, oh my god, a bad review. Oh my god,
that's how. Okay, so that happened. I'm gonna share an experience. I look at my reviews and I saw somebody say like, oh, their agua de it's limón and pepino. They're like, it's horrible. Like it's just nothing but sugar. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So me, my anxiety, I'm like overthinking. This was at night. The next day, I come into work and I'm just like, it's in the back of my head, you know, but I'm trying to push it out. I have 3 people come in and they're like, oh yeah, can we order 3 large aguas de limón con pepino? And I was like, yeah, what else would you guys like? She's like, that's it. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, you guys made my day. They're like, why? And I told them, they're like, no, they're like, it's amazing. Like, there's always gonna be somebody that, you know, is not gonna like what you put out there, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody has the same likes, you know. So I was just like, okay. So yeah. That's what keeps me going.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, how about, well, it may be too early for this question, but diversification in different businesses. Do y'all have other businesses, or is this the only thing?
Well, the valet business. Yeah.
Still?
So we still run the valet business. I was actually over there before I came over here.
Oh, wow. So what's it like managing and balancing 2 completely different types of businesses?
We're still trying to figure out like how to balance things. My husband and I do like take turns. You know, he goes with that sometimes, and then I'll deal with this. The paperwork does fall on me for both locations, so it's just more of a learning how to not stress too much about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I've had to learn the hard way. I'm actually 3 months pregnant, so.
I was just gonna ask if y'all have kids, because that only makes things.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have a 9-year-old, and then I'm pregnant now, and then my doctor actually just saw my doctor on Thursday. And he's like, you need to stop stressing, and I'm like, that's literally impossible. I'm like, I'll try. I'm like, but that's so impossible. So yeah, that's
wow,
where
you guys are doing a lot of big things this year.
A lot of big things.
New business, new baby.
I know.
That's great, because kids are awesome.
I know.
I'm all about having babies, because it's like,
it's a 10-year age gap, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but it's beautiful to.
It is.
have
It is.
children.
I love kids. So it's exciting.
Congrats on the baby. How do you feel about secret ingredients or secret recipes? Do you think that there's validity to that, or no?
Like our own secret ingredients?
Well, like, you know how people say like, oh, I need to protect my recipe, or nobody can know the secret ingredient. Do you think that that's true, or no?
It is true. We actually have a taquero in the back, and he's like very, you know, he's like, I prep the meat, and I'm just like, okay, like, so nobody else but him knows the meat, like the whatever seasonings he does. And the other day he was like, do you want to learn? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
You need
Teach
to.
me your ways. Like, don't move. So yeah, I do believe in that.
And like,
I
make
know,
sure nothing
I
happens
have
to
him
him.
like in a bubble. I'm like, you're not literally. I was like, you're not going nowhere right now. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then, how about working with family? Do you think it's good to work with family, or no?
That's a very, very touchy subject at the moment.
Okay.
Honestly.
I'm not trying to.
Yeah. No. You're good. Honestly, there's too much tension in the work environment, and I'm telling you this because we work with family in this business as well as in the valet, and I don't think it's good to mix family and work together, because there's always going to be a disagreement of some sort, and it's just like, you can't leave it at work. You know what I mean? It follows you home, and it just follows you. You know what I mean? So I honestly, I wouldn't mix family in business.
You wouldn't recommend
I
it?
would not recommend.
It's too hard to separate.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
way too hard. Yeah. Even
Yeah.
though you say, okay, we'll leave it at work, you're not gonna leave it at work.
Yeah, you can both agree.
Because even whenever you're married, like let's say, or when you're with somebody, you know, and like let's say for example, I go to work and I have a stressful day. It's hard for me to walk through the door and leave that behind. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
still in the back of my head. So imagine like, you know, having to see your family. Me, my husband and I mean, we've worked together for so many years. There's
Yeah.
days where I'm just like, oh my God, bro, like don't talk to me, you know, but we know to give each other our space.
Y'all
Like
can manage that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Some days. We're not
It's always
perfect,
hard.
so.
Well, just
Yeah.
separating business and personal life, period, even without family, like your personal life and your business life,
Yeah.
it's really hard to separate it.
Yes.
I don't separate it anymore. I'm just like, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Like my notes, this is my business journal for everything. And I'm like, everything goes in here, whether it's
Yeah.
like, you know, when I study the Bible, when I
course.
have to keep notes about things that we're doing with family or
Yeah.
work, I'm like, whatever. My life is just already,
Everything already together.
yeah, it's too intertwined, so why try?
That makes sense.
So yeah, the family element, yeah, it's a tough one. So.
It's a tough. Some people might say otherwise, and good for them. But I personally, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. So far, like I would say in business in general, not just this. What has been the toughest moment as a business owner that you could share?
Toughest moment?
Yeah.
I think the first few days of just trying to get everything started, the ball rolling. You know, you want to start as soon as possible. I mean, it took us 9 months to get the place open just because of permits, you know, bumps in the roads. So yeah, it's just a matter of trying to get the ball rolling.
So that crunch time of like being in the first few days where like
Yes.
leading
Making
up to
sure that we
opening.
have everything together,
Okay.
everything ready, everything perfected. It's not going to be perfected, I can assure you that, whenever you open. But it's just a matter of like, trust me, like the first 2 weeks, if it wasn't for my grandma, I don't know where we would have been. She was staying at my house, she was cooking, she was cleaning, she was taking care of my daughter, you know, receiving her from like picking her from school, you know, she was doing all that. And if it wasn't for her, I don't know, we were doing over 12 hours a day here. Like we would get here at like 6, 7 in the morning. We wouldn't leave till like 1 or 2 in the morning. So it was tough. It was tough. It was very tough. So having a support system definitely helps.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Wow. Okay. What about a life lesson that you say you've gotten as a takeaway from this business so far?
From this business so far?
Or in general?
In general.
Something that people would want to know, like, hey, after doing business and going through everything you've gone through so far, what's the biggest takeaway as far as like a life lesson from business?
Having lots of patience is definitely the key. Asking questions, you know, there's people that are willing to help and there's people that are not, and that's okay. You know, being open to judgment, being open to, you know, there's people that walk in, I'm just like, hey guys, how was everything? Like, is there anything you guys recommend? You know, and being open to that criticism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Without getting emotional.
Yes.
Or trying not to.
Exactly. Trust me, like when they would tell me things in the beginning, I'm just like, I can feel the water in my eyes, and I'm just like, no. Suck it up. You know, but I'm just like, this is good because I need to know what I need to work on.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, just taking that advice, you know, just hearing people out and maybe taking it in, maybe just like letting it slide, you know, but at the end of the day is listening to people and understanding what it is that they recommend, what it is that they're looking for, you know, and then going from there.
Yeah. Because
At the end of the day, you're here to serve, you know, others.
Yeah, even if they're not always right, you're saying like just take it in.
Just take it in.
Don't take it the wrong way. And just
Yes.
like
And then
use it
get
to
the
grow.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, last one is do you believe in God?
I do.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Fun fact, cancer survivor, stage 4 cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma, and they told me I was never gonna have kids, so I'm literally 2 kids in.
That's crazy.
So yes,
Congrats.
I do believe. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because with the people that we interview, I just think it's important for people to see leaning on faith versus not.
Exactly.
And for me, it's very important. So it's
Yes,
very refreshing
it
to
is.
see people who are successful in their business and they also lean on their faith in God. Because there's a lot of friends make comments to me where they're like, well, if God is good, why
What
is that
this
guy
have?
successful and he's a bad guy? And I'm
exactly. It's because you should never question. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did question. I was 15 at the time, and I'm like, why me? Like, why does everybody get to live their life and I have to go through this?
Were you 15 when
I was 15. Yes, I was 15 at the time. So whenever I remember the doctors clearly telling me, they're like, you're never gonna have kids. You know, with all the chemo radiation that you've done, like, you're never gonna be able to have any kids. So in my mind, I was like, why? Like, why me? You know, and I would sit there and I would cry at night, and I would just like ask, like, why God? Like, why me? You know what I mean? And I even asked my doctor, I'm like, why me? And she's like, there wasn't a fruit that you ate or that you didn't eat, a vegetable that you ate or that you didn't eat. She's like, it was already in your blood system. She's like, this was bound to happen. You know?
Wow.
So when I tell you, there's so many things that you know have happened in my life that I'm just like, there's, you know, if you don't believe, then I don't, you know, I can't make you believe. But me personally, I do.
Yeah, like there's things that happen, I think in all of our lives that just don't make sense. For better or for worse, like, it doesn't make sense, and it's like, that's when it really makes you question, like,
Exactly.
either you're mad at God, or you don't believe, or you do believe. But I think it's too, for most people, I think, if you look at people's lives, I think it's too evident to ignore that there's something
There's something
more.
bigger than, you know. Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing all that with us. That's great. Great stories. It's like, it's crazy. We never know what we're gonna get with
I
these
know.
questions. Like your story with you beating cancer.
I know, that's
awesome.
I know a lot of people are like, what? And I'm just like, I was bald. Like, I was literally bald, and you know, and I have people that are just like, you know, 15, you're like in your prime. Like,
Yes.
you're literally. I was going into a sophomore to be a sophomore in high school, and my friends were doing everything. They were playing soccer. Like, I was playing soccer, and I got to play soccer. You know, there's pictures of me where I'm like, I'm celebrating after a goal, and I'm just like, I'm running, and my hair is like literally like just bald. So yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that must make you so strong now.
It's a lot. Like, in the moment, it was just like, again, just questioning, like, why me? You know what I mean? And now I'm just like, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
I know. And 2 kids later, I'm like, who do I sue? Who's gonna buy me my diapers? So, no, but I'm grateful. That's what I'm telling you.
Yes.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like it just happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thanks so much.
Yes.
You broke our what do we call it? We were on a track of everybody saying no, 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 no,
Oh,
because we don't know anybody in Dallas.
I actually have like for you to interview?
Yeah.
Really? I'm always down for an interview.
Yeah.
I'm always down. Yeah, that's
so-
what my guy was like, who's gonna interview? I was like, damn it. He's like, what did they say? I was like, I don't know. I was like, go talk to him. He said, you're gonna do it? I'm like, why not? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We love talking to people. We love to get our story out there.
Yeah.
Just meeting new.
Awesome. Yeah. So thanks for.
You guys wanna grab some food, some drinks?
Honestly, yeah.
You do? Okay. I'm like, you just ate. You just